Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the podcast where we rewind the VHS tapes and celebrate the movies, the stars, the pop culture that made the 1980s and the 1990s unforgettable. I'm Chris, and this is Marty, and today we're diving into the incredible career of one of Hollywood's most versatile actresses, Geena Davis. From fashion model to cult classic queen to Academy Award winner to action hero, Geena Davis had one of the most fascinating careers of the 80s and 90s, and today we'll talk about it. Her early beginnings, every major movie and TV role from the 80s and 90s that she was a part of, roles that she almost landed, behind the scenes stories, and some fun trivia. And we might have a couple of discussion questions that you get to listen to us chat about back and forth here that you can also bring up with some of your friends and fellow movie fans as well. So grab your popcorn and rewind those tapes, and let's jump into the career of Geena Davis. Marty,
What up,
oh,
Chris?
what's going on?
No ready to.
I lost you for a second. I'm sorry. That was my
Oh,
fault. What's
wait,
going
yeah.
on?
Here I am. Here
Yeah, no, that was my fault. What's going on?
I am.
Uh, I'm here. I'm trying to be fancy with the screens here, and I go to switch over to our other format where it widens the screen, and I knocked Marty completely out. That was great. Geena Davis, though, Marty, a lot of fun movies.
Exactly,
How many did you watch this weekend or this past
dude.
week?
Quite a few. Quite a few.
You are a
I
movie taking
I did
machine.
like maybe two or three from the '90s, but I hit up a lot of the '80s. So
Well, I do remember you said something about watching Beetlejuice, and
yeah,
I want to say you just watched Cutthroat Island tonight, which was
yeah.
90s.
Just literally like 2 seconds ago. So
Yeah, so you watched The Fly.
yes,
Did you
which is
watch
one of my favorites.
Did you watch Quick Change?
Yes, and that's a really good movie. You need to watch that one.
I'll get around to it eventually, I'm sure. Uh, Unfortunately, I didn't have that kind of time this weekend. I never have the kind of time to watch a lot of movies like I used to. It seems like there's always a lot, coming up and things I got to do and everything. So, but I get to what I can when I can. You know,
Hmm.
Geena Davis, so she was kind of get to her early beginnings here to get her little history out of the way. Then we can jump right into the movies. Geena Davis was born Virginia Elizabeth Davis on January 21, 1956, in Wareham, Massachusetts. Long before acting, she was extremely intelligent and musically talented. She played piano, she played flute and organ, and even became fluent in Swedish after participating in an exchange program. Before Hollywood, she worked as a model for the famous Zoli modeling agency in New York. Standing nearly 6 feet tall, Geena Davis immediately stood out in the fashion world. After studying acting at Boston University, she pursued acting professionally, and unlike many actors who struggle for years, her breakthrough came surprisingly fast. In 1982, Marty, her first film role is listed as Tootsie. Uh, Her first movie role came in a massive hit Tootsie starring Dustin Hoffman. Director Sidney Pollack reportedly discovered her after seeing her in a Victoria's Secret catalog. Why was he looking at a Victoria's Secret catalog, and where can we
Hey,
find
you
it?
never know. You never know about these directors nowadays.
I'm
So,
telling you, and like I said, where can we find it? Only in the 1980s could that happen. Even with the limited screen time, audiences noticed her instantly. She played like the role of like a soap opera star or something like that in Tootsie. It's just a bit role. It's nothing major.
mhm.
There was a TV series in '83 to '84 called Buffalo Bill. She landed a recurring role on the sitcom Buffalo Bill, starring Dabney Coleman. She played Wendy Killian and showed audiences she had an excellent comedic timing. The show became critically respected, even if ratings weren't huge. Now, I personally, Marty, I don't remember Buffalo Bill. Maybe you seen it. I didn't.
Well, I don't remember it neither, but I do remember. I do remember the one episode of Knight Rider that she was in. So,
Yeah, she was in. She was a lot of one offs on on a lot of TV shows.
mhm.
Just single episodes here and there. She had a TV series in the '90s too. Do you remember what that was?
uh, uh, mm, not offhand. So
Yeah, you know what? I'll have to look it up in a little bit. I don't think it's listed in the list here with the movies and such, but I know seems like there was a TV series in the 90s as well. Other movies in the 80s. In 1985, she had a part in Fletch, um, pairing her with Chevy Chase. The movie became
mhm,
a classic and helped make Geena Davis more recognizable to mainstream audiences. Uh, Chevy Chase improvised constantly um, during filming, forcing actors to react naturally in the scenes. We all know he's notorious for doing that.
yeah, exactly.
And before I forget, I got distracted when I was talking about Buffalo Bill and everything. That show never really became critically respected or well known. Um, Ratings weren't that huge. Or well, I take it back. The show became critically respected, but not well known. So because the ratings weren't very huge for the show, it was not a very popular deal back in that time. So, uh,
Mhm,
and then of course Chevy Chase, as I said, he was well known for improvising a lot of his stuff, keeping actors on their and actresses on their toes. A little difficult to work with, they've always said.
yeah,
So, but Chevy Chase is a funny guy though.
exactly. He is.
So you take, it's like you take the good, you take the bad, right?
Mhm. Well, and the
Transylvania.
thing is, that's two people that she's worked with from Saturday Night Live. Because Chevy Chase and Bill Murray. So
Well, she hasn't worked with Bill Murray as of yet. That's coming up though. But she
yeah.
has worked with two people from SNL for sure though.
Mhm.
Transylvania 65000 in 1985. Now I watched this for the first time today myself. It's one of the movies that I watched, and it's a bizarre horror comedy that paired her along with Jeff Goldblum, Michael Richards, and Ed Begley Jr. Now Michael Richards, I was like, when I saw his character Marty, the role he was playing, I'm like, who is that guy? I know him. He looks
Mhm.
so familiar, and it
Yeah,
didn't hit
he
me
should.
that was a young Kramer.
Yeah.
It just didn't sit with me, when I first seen him. I was like, "That's awesome," and he had some funny role. He had some funny spots in it. That
Mm.
was good. Um, her part in it was she was supposed to be a
Um,
vampire named
yeah.
Odette.
Odette the vampire.
Yeah. This film became important personally to her because that's where Geena Davis met Jeff Goldblum, and the two later got married. Um, I never, when I was younger, had an interest in watching this movie. I don't know why. It really wasn't that bad when I watched it earlier. If you just want some classic '80s comedy cheese, that's what
Yeah,
that is.
and that's what it is. It's comedy cheese. I mean,
Yeah,
no serious dialogue to it. I mean,
no,
kind of, but not too serious. So,
and the cast, other than the three I mentioned, Joseph Bologna, I guess that's how you say his name, in it, or is it Joseph Bologna?
it's baloney.
Because his Bologna has a
Or
first name. It's
Bologna, but it's Bologna.
Joseph. Dr. Malavakwa is who he
Yeah,
played. He's
he,
looks like a
he was hilarious. He was all like, one minute he was all like, he's like, Radu, get to work. And then he'd step out of the lab and he'd pull his hair back down. He'd be like, Radu, take a seat. You look like you're tired.
he's like a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, he's a Jekyll and Hyde. So,
Carol Kane and John Biner were the married couple. It was Radu and Loop. Was it Loopy? I
yeah.
think it was. Michael Richards, I mentioned, he was a butler kind of guy. Jeffrey Jones, who played the principal, like in Ferris Bueller. That's where I know him the most, and that and Howard the Duck. He was the mayor or something like that of the
Yeah,
town.
the mayor of Transylvania.
Donald Gibb, who just passed away recently, played the Wolfman, and Norman Fell had the part running the paper. For those of you who aren't familiar with Norman Fell, but the name might ring a bell, that's Mr. Roper from Three's Company.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was
Most
Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. He was the chief of the newspaper.
right, right. So, but if you get a chance to watch that movie, yeah, I would say highly recommended. It's a it's it's a classic
It's
'80s
80s
comedy.
comedy cheese, man.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
it's just classic '80s comedy, more or less. The next year in 1986, The Fly. So now we got Jeff Goldblum once again paired up with her. And this movie was directed by David Cronenberg, now considered one of the greatest, and The Fly itself was considered one of the greatest horror remakes ever made. I never knew that was a remake movie.
Yes, it was a remake from the 1950s. Actually, it had Vincent Price in it. Vincent Price was not the he wasn't the cop investigating like what was going on in the original. I think he was more like like a friend of the scientist that turned himself, like he turned himself into, basically he had like fly hands and he had a fly's head. And but David Cronenberg's version, oh, he stepped it up a notch. So
Now, are you sure that we talked earlier about David Cronenberg? You said that he did he direct or was he just in the movie Nightbreed?
oh, he was just in Nightbreed.
Just in Nightbreed. Oh,
Clive Barker
okay.
actually directed Nightbreed, I think.
I knew it was based off his book Cabal or something like that, but I didn't know that he directed the movie too, though.
Yeah,
But Cronenberg, known for some other things, he's not other than The Fly. He did Crash, A History of Violence, Eastern Promises. Latest movie, 2024 movie called The Shrouds. But he's got some awards and notable films and everything. So he's been around for a little bit.
yeah,
Um, we got Goldblum played the scientist Seth Brundle, while Geena Davis played Veronica. I'm gonna say that's Quaife, Quaife. I don't know. Her performance
yeah.
brought genuine
You're right. I
emotion.
think it is pronounced that.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure. That's throwing me off. But it says her performance brought genuine emotion and heartbreak into what could have just been a monster movie. The practical makeup effects were so realistic that some audience members reportedly became physically ill during screenings. It said the film won Academy Award
Yeah,
for best makeup as well.
like one of the craziest scenes, like it was towards the end of the movie when his whole body started like falling apart,
Mm-hmm.
and like the fly, the fly that was inside the body was starting to like come out of the body, and it was literally like hunks of flesh were like hitting the ground, and I mean it's pretty crazy looking how
I
they put it
had
together that way.
I had read
So
somewhere that Geena Davis was also a little sick at times because it was so realistic on the set. The transformations and stuff. Watching them go through that, it's
uh,
crazy. In '88, there is Beetlejuice.
yeah,
So Geena Davis has
the ghost was the most.
right. Then Geena Davis entered full pop culture immortality at that point. That's the first movie will say that people are going to look back at and go, you know, that's Geena Davis now. She's
Exactly.
in The Fly, but Beetlejuice was a big deal for people. Directed by Tim Burton, one of the defining movies of the decade. Starred alongside Alec Baldwin, Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Tim Burton. He's got his fair share of things over the years too. Very popular as far as
Uh-huh.
directing goes. What Nightmare Before Christmas was one he's kind of famous for, I do believe. Um, believe it or not, do you know what Tim Burton's feature debut was?
Batman.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Batman, Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, Sleepy Hollow, Nightmare Before Christmas. A lot of great things that he put out there. So
Well,
I'm
and I
sure.
mean Tim Burton will go on to. I don't know if Beetlejuice was before Batman was Michael Keaton,
It was,
but
yes.
I mean Tim Burton. I mean that was I guess he found Michael Keaton so interesting and so impacting as an actor. He was like, "That's my Batman." So
Well, you remember we talked the other day. There was other people that almost got that role for Batman as well. Maybe what he did in Beetlejuice, since he directed it, made him think, "Nope, I want this guy right here."
exactly,
Could
yeah.
have been. Uh, Gina Davis played Barbara Maitland, one of the sweetest ghosts ever put on film. They say she is one half of the couple that had died in the car wreck that lived in the house and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, couple of things about the movie. Michael Keaton improvised much of his Beetlejuice dialogue, which I'm sure she didn't bother her since she worked with Chevy Chase, who like the master of that.
Yeah,
Uh, Tim Burton originally envisioned Beetlejuice as a far darker and more horror oriented movie to begin with, and of course that changed.
yeah, more comedy than horror. So
Yeah. Now this movie here in the '80s, I am not familiar with. I didn't watch it. I mean, I remember the movie title being out and available to rent and watch, but I didn't watch it. The Accidental Tourist in 1988. This movie earned Gina Davis the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, and she starred alongside William Hurt and Kathleen Turner. Critics praised her quirky and emotionally layered performance, and this role proved that she wasn't just a genre actress. She was a serious dramatic talent. And as she is showing, as she goes along in her career, she's not limited to one type of movie she can do. You know, some people out there are one dimensional. You got your action stars, and they'll try something like a comedy, and flunk at it.
all right,
And they'll rebound with a good action film and they're back on top again, right? You have some people who are just made for comedy. They're just funny, but they can't do much of anything else. They're not dramatic. They can't pull off the action hero. Um, it
but
just
I
it's
mean, the thing is, I mean, Gina Davis is very versatile, in my opinion. I mean, she went from she went from dramatic to comedy to I mean,
sci-fi.
she action star. I mean, and even in her later careers, in the 2000s. I don't want to touch on it too much, but she's even more of an action star now than she was back in the 80s and 90s. So
She's done a little bit of everything there is to do in the movies. I don't think there's anything left that she hasn't done. And according to Marty, she's even been in a musical before because in 1988 she did "Earth Girls Are Easy."
yeah,
And what did you tell me about this?
I can't believe I'm watching a musical.
Called it Marty has a strange idea what musicals are sometimes, so I don't know if I really gonna side with him on it being a musical. It does have music in it though.
It is heavily influenced by music all through it.
Earth Girls Are Easy, one of the strangest cult classics of the late '80s. It starred Jeff Goldblum. Imagine that. It's Jeff
Hmm.
Goldblum yet again.
Yet again.
Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans. This is Jim Carrey's last film before he really broke out as a comedy
Yeah,
guy.
before his career really boomed.
Yeah,
Well, and Living Color had a lot to do with it too.
it
But
did. Excuse me. And then speaking of Living Color, Damon Wayans, one of the Wayans brothers.
yeah,
We're ending with
yeah,
this. It combined aliens, music. There you go, music, comedy, and a pure MTV era weirdness. Today, it has a very massive cult following. Julie Brown was in it. No,
Downtown.
no, 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 not downtown Julie Brown, just Julie Brown.
Now, eventually, downtown. Julie
No,
Ray.
downtown Julie Brown was the other woman that was on MTV at the same time. They had two Julie Browns.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I'm saying do not even confuse them two. There is no comparison to the two. Who was the other girl in there with him?
What was the other girl?
Yeah, there
Uh,
was there was three, right?
no, there was just two.
I
It
thought there
was
was
Julie
three.
Brown and Gina Davis were the main
Okay.
characters.
All right, I thought there was three for some reason.
Hmm.
Um, so jumping to the '90s here to talk about some of her '90s stardom. Marty mentioned this earlier, and I want you to talk about it for a minute, if you will. Quick Change, the crime comedy starring Bill Murray and Randy Quaid. The movie has become more appreciated over time, it says, but I didn't do much of a deep dive on the movie or anything. So tell us a bit about Quick Change.
Okay, so quick change is a great. It's a great comedy, and it's a and like you said, it's like it's comedy and crime mixed because at first you when you see Bill Murray on the subway car, in New York, and he's like getting off of the subway car, he's literally dressed as a clown. He's got he's got the big old shoes on. He's wearing the clown outfit and he's carrying these balloons. And so he's walking up towards the bank, and so the old bank guard is all like, hey buddy, we're closing, and he says, and then Bill Murray's all like, oh, I only need just a few minutes, just give me a few minutes, and he's like, no, we're closing. And he whips out that pistol and he goes, no, you're open. And then so, it just kind of goes from there. He goes in, he tells them all, be cool. And how he does it with like, because you don't know it at first, but two of the people that are in the bank are in on the job. And it's literally Geena Davis is wearing a blonde wig, and Randy Quaid is wearing this big old grizzly beard, and he's wearing like this curly wig on top of his head, and so they're in on the job, and like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but the movie is so funny, and I hate to say it, other than Bill Murray, and Bill Murray, he's great in everything he's in, pretty much. But
Yeah.
Randy Quaid stole that movie. I mean,
Mhm.
he
He has a tendency to do
his
that.
character is so funny in that.
He does that a lot with movies that he's in.
Yeah,
We talked about that with Moving a couple of weeks ago. How we thought he
exactly.
stole the film in there too. So you put him in Independence Day. That character stands out a
Yeah,
lot.
that's it. Hey, he stands out in everything. So,
He's like the hero in the end of it, practically.
yeah,
So, um, well, moving on to 1991, Thelma and Louise. Now, gosh, I told you this earlier too. People are going to be like, "What?" If Travis was here, I would get fussed at. I've never seen Thelma and Louise. Guilty. I've not seen it. I'm sorry.
I've
I wouldn't.
I've seen it, but I've seen it, but the thing is, it's like I don't remember too much about it because at the time when I saw it, it was just kind of like it was on a cable station or something, and I was in passing, and I kind of watched a few minutes of it, and then just kept on going. So
I mean, it's basically it's a film following two women whose weekend getaway becomes a fugitive odyssey. It says exploring themes of friendship, freedom, and female empowerment. It became a cultural landmark for its portrayal of women resisting societal constraints. That's a lot of big words right there, ain't it?
yeah, it is.
I know. I should be proud of myself. I didn't mess it up. Directed by Ridley Scott, starred Gina Davis, Susan Sarandon, and Brad Pitt and Harvey Keitel. So, but it kind of centers on Thelma and her friend Louise, played by Susan Sarandon, two friends who embark on a short road trip that spirals into a run from the law after a violent encounter. The journey across America and the Southwest becomes a statement on liberation and rebellion, confronting sexism and violence. The film culminates in an iconic and ambiguous ending at the Grand Canyon. Now,
Yeah.
I believe that's a well known scene, even for people who haven't seen the movie, the scene at the Grand Canyon. Uh,
Hmm.
that's where Thelma and Louise in the run, right?
Yeah, that's where they end their run. So
Just right.
basically, they're like hand in hand, holding each other's hands like this, and I want to say Susan Sarandon's character was driving.
Yeah,
And they
I
go
believe
off.
so.
They go off into the sunset. So
Right. Literally off to the sunset. Um, I believe I said it was directed by Ridley Scott, right?
Yes.
The movie received multiple Oscar nominations and is now considered one of the greatest films of the '90s. Actually, a young Brad Pitt was in the movie, became a breakout star because of this film, and Gina Davis received an Academy Award nomination as Best Actress. And I think I just read something here a second ago. Let me get back to it. Um, about its impact and legacy. Um, Widely discussed for its feminine narrative, inspiring debates about gender roles and justice, its final scene became one of the cinema's most referenced moments. It's also recognized with the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry.
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
think when you get to that point, when Library of Congress has got you, you know, preserved as a movie, you're always going to be known. You're always going to be around at that point. So
Hmm.
definitely a feather in their cap for sure. I would
Yeah,
say.
exactly.
A League of Their Own in 1992. This is one of my favorites of hers, if not my favorite of hers.
Hmm.
One of the greatest sports movies ever made. Some people would look at me and say you're crazy. That's not my words. This is the word of the script. It is a good. It is a good sports movie though.
I can think of a couple more that are a little bit better than this
I
baseball
can think of about. I can easily name five more that I like better than this one.
one. Exactly.
As a sports movie, okay. But this is a good movie though,
Yeah,
no
it is
doubt.
a good movie. I ain't gonna argue
So
with you.
yeah, League of Their Own starred Tom Hanks, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell. You had Lori Petty. You had, of course, Gina Davis. Um,
Well, Laura Petty and Gina Davis, they were sisters in the
yeah,
movie.
right. They were
So,
sisters. Um, Dottie Henson and what was Dottie's sister's name? Lord
the only thing
Cat
I
or
can
something like
remember is
that.
only thing I can remember is nag, mule.
Yeah, yeah, and their names for each other. It spawned the famous line. There's no crying in baseball.
Exactly. There's no crying in base. What are you doing? There is no crying. There is no crying in baseball.
Uh, That line became legendary. It's quoted quite one of the most quoted lines in the '90s, I think, from movies and everything. John Lovitz had a part in the film as well.
Or better yet, when Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna are like standing beside each other, and when Madonna's like, "What if I'm rounding a base and oops, my blouse opens up and my boob pops out," and then Rosie looks over and goes, "Like no man has ever saw that before." I was like, that is hilarious.
Best friends. Um, so some fun trivia about this one. Many actresses actually of the movie they actually trained extensively in baseball before the filming happened, so they could be as realistic as possible with it. And a lot of the women playing, they looked like they knew the role pretty well as far as playing the sport and everything.
Mhm.
And this was set during the time you said I think it was World War One, right, where the
I
men
think
had
it
been
was
called
World
off the
War One,
war.
or towards the end of World War One,
Yeah,
rolling into World War Two.
and
So
baseball was something that was hurting from it because the draft had been put in and
yeah, the
taking a lot of
draft had
people.
basically pulled all the baseball players into the Army or the Navy or the Marines or wherever.
Yeah, so they started a women's league, the all women's league, and um, I mean, personally, I highly recommend the movie. I do. It's not one of the great. It's not the greatest sports movie ever made. Like this thing tried to portray and everything, but it is a good sports movie and it's fun to
And
watch.
it is a good movie. So,
And as far as baseball movies go, I mean, you're not getting a Field of Dreams, but I mean, it's not
well,
something.
the thing is, A League of Their Own was more story driven than
Mhm.
baseball driven. So,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I mean,
So,
it's got a deep story to it, and baseball definitely plays a big part of it.
right.
But it's not based solely around baseball and them trying to win a championship and all these different things like you see in some of the other movies. Like if you were to watch,
Mhm.
even rookie something like Rookie of the Year or Angels in the Outfield, they're more family friendly type comedies of baseball. Watch Major League, not definitely a family family
Yeah, it's not a family
attachment,
movie.
not family oriented for Major League. But I mean, still they're trying to work at it to get to the World Series and win. This is
Mhm.
just something going on at the time when the country, when wars happen and the draft's been instituted and people have been called off the war, and some of the women get to play, and they don't know exactly how they're going to get through this, and some of them are still getting news about their husbands not coming back from war and everything. So it's got some serious tones
Yeah,
to
it's
it,
got
and
some serious moments. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So and Tom Hanks was brilliant in the movie. It
yes.
was really good.
And in my opinion, in my opinion, he is what carried that movie for me. I mean, because Tom Hanks, he is like like a great actor,
Yeah.
and his role in A League of Their Own just set it for me. So
My
because
thing was the story between Dottie and Kit.
yeah,
You know, which was Lori Petty's character. I couldn't think of her name a while ago. It was Kit. The story between the two of them as they're before they get to the league, how they got in the league, how they progressed once they were there, and what happens toward the end of it as a business part.
mhm,
And then still them, being family and everything.
yeah,
The way all that came together and all was pretty good. So definitely highly recommend that as far as the 90s movie for Gina Davis. Watch that. In 1992, she did a movie called Hero with Dustin Hoffman and Andy Garcia. Of course, it doesn't really tell me anything about the movie here, but I believe Hero is where there was someone who pulled somebody out of a burning wreck or something.
Well,
And
it was basically what I remember from Hero is that I can't remember if it was Andy Garcia or if it was Dustin Hoffman, but I know Dustin Hoffman is the actual hero that goes aboard this plane crash,
yeah,
and he's pulling all these people out of the plane, and then and then he basically just walks off after he rescues the survivors, and then Andy Garcia's character is like this. I don't know. He's kind of like a con man almost, but
hmm
he takes credit for what Dustin Hoffman does. And then like Gina Davis's character, I think she's a reporter. I don't know if it's a newspaper. I think she was a newspaper reporter, but you know that as the story progresses, she finds out that basically Andy Garcia is like that con man, and she actually does find Dustin Hoffman. But Dustin Hoffman's just like this normal little angry dude, and he basically tells her at one point, he's like, I don't know why I pulled y'all off the plane. I'm pissed off at the world, you know, but I didn't want to see nobody die. And but Hero was one of those type of movies you'd have to like really watch it to really get the movie, because it had like it it didn't really it when I watched it, it really didn't grab me at first, but like
yeah,
maybe the second or third time I watched it, and then that's when I started to appreciate it. Yeah.
I get you. Next movie from there, we go to 1994, and it's the movie Angie, a romantic drama that showcased Gina Davis in a more grounded, dramatic role. Now, I do not remember this movie at all.
Me neither.
um, but basically, it stars Gina Davis as a sharp-witted, independent woman from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, whose unexpected pregnancy sets off a journey of intense self-discovery. Ooh, that sounds like a movie I'm just going to run to right now. I'm not going to throw my stamp of approval on this one and tell y'all to go watch it because I've not watched it, so I can't speak anything about it.
Mhm.
Directed by Martha Coolidge, the film is an adaptation of Avro Wing's 1991 novel Angie, I Says. Um, She discovers she's pregnant by her long-term plumber boyfriend, Vinny. Decides to have the baby, but refuses to marry Vinny, upending her neighborhood's expectations. While pregnant, meets and begins an affair with Noel, a cultured Manhattan lawyer. And then, driven by childhood abandonment issues, she travels to Texas to locate her estranged mentally ill mother. I can't imagine how you put all that together and make a movie that will set me down long enough to watch it and take interest.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't think of anything neither. So,
James Gandolfini stars in it with her, along with Stephen Ray, Ada Turturro, Philip Bosco, and as I said, directed by Martha Coolidge. So, if you have an interest in any kind of dramas and you're a fan of Geena Davis, that you can go watch it. I'm sure you might find it interesting then at that point. It just doesn't sound like it's for me, Marty.
yeah, me neither. So,
Um, Now, here's the one I do believe your sister was telling you about. She wanted you to watch 1994 movie also called Speechless. It's a political romantic comedy starring Michael Keaton. Fans love seeing Davis and Keaton reunite after Beetlejuice.
mhm.
So, did you look it up to see what it was about when
I
she?
did not. I mean, my sister told me to watch it, and then I was kind of like, and then I looked at the trailer on YouTube, and then I was kind of like, no, this ain't my type of movie. So I went on ahead and I watched. What did I watch? Probably a movie that we're gonna talk about here in a second. So,
Yeah, I believe it's next. Speechless. The core cast is Michael Keaton, Gina Davis, Bonnie Bedelia, and Christopher Reeve. And the basic plot is, let's see, Kevin Valek and Julia Mann meet at a convenience store over the last box of sleeping pills of all things. After an evening of romance, their professional rivalry forces them to drop the pillow talk for ruthless verbal jabbing on the campaign trail. And when I say their professional rivalry, it looks like Michael Keaton is a Republican and she is a Democrat in the movie.
uh-huh.
So a lot of political back and forths, it looks like, in this. Probably not one for me either. Let's talk with your sister and tell her what in the world is you watching.
Well, my this was like a favorite of my mom's. So
Was it?
yeah, so
Then
she really liked this movie,
then
and
I'm
she
gonna
dragged my sister into watching it and liking it too.
then I'm
So
gonna talk to Mama number two, and I'm gonna say, Mama number two, what is you watching?
exactly.
I might get them both in the same
I mean,
room. I don't know. I mean,
I might eventually break down and watch it just because
yeah.
what you just talked about, like there, kind of piqued my interest a little bit. So
Well, this next movie piqued my interest because I was such a big fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean when it came out. Loved the first two, the first three movies actually, um, and then kind of dropped off after that. But I did like the first three. Well, this one is not Pirates of the Caribbean, but it is Cutthroat Island from 1995, one of Hollywood's most infamous box office bombs. Cutthroat Island attempted to revive pirate movies years before Pirates of the Caribbean, but despite failing financially, many fans now appreciate its practical stunts and its ambitious action sequences.
yeah,
Uh,
because it had a lot of action, like a lot of action things in it.
it did, but the movie nearly destroyed Carol Cove Pictures financially. It said, I guess they put some money into it, and it just did not work out. Rennie Harlan was the director. Starred Gina Davis and Matthew Modine. Um, Frank Langella, as I mentioned earlier, was
Yep.
Skeletor. The budget was
Mhm.
approximately 98 to 100 million dollars, and the box office took in around 10 million worldwide, not domestic.
It took how
So
much to make that movie?
98 to 100 million.
What in the world, dude?
I don't know where they spent the money, but they spent the money
Well, it must have been on the
somewhere.
boats. I mean,
Must be. And they blew the crap out of them at the end of it.
yeah,
Um,
I,
set in
that's where they lost their money right there. when
Set in
they
the
shut the
17th.
boats up.
I know. Set in the 17th century Caribbean, Cutthroat Island follows pirate captain, and this is why she's cool, Morgan Adams. Got a great
Mhm.
last name there, Marty. Great last name.
Yep,
Solid. Very
Morgan
solid.
Adams.
Very solid. Was Geena Davis as she seeks pieces of a treasure map once owned by her slain father. She teams up with William Shaw, played by Matthew Modine, a thief and a linguist, to locate the legendary treasure while evading her villainous uncle, Dog Brown, played by
Dog
Langella.
Brown. Yeah, dog.
The story blends high seas adventure and sword fights and comical banter, typical of classic pirate tales. Um, some production and challenges with it. The film's production, managed by Carolco Pictures, was plagued by difficulties, ship damage, script rewrites. I said rewrites. Oh my gosh. Injuries and the replacement of the original male lead. Its budget ballooned due to elaborate sets on location Caribbean shoots. There's where your money went. And extensive action sequences. The commercial failure of Cutthroat Island contributed to Carolco's bankruptcy soon after its release. That sucks for them, I guess, right? I thought it was a good movie, though,
Yeah,
personally.
I mean, I thought it was a good movie too. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't mad at it by any means.
I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, it's not, but I mean, it's still a good movie. So,
Right. Exactly. It was definitely a good movie. Um,
what was your favorite part of Cutthroat Island?
oh gosh, you know what? I mean, it had some great action sequences, more than I can really count to really tell you which one was my favorite. But at the end of it, where she's fighting her uncle, Dog or whatever I
Yeah,
forget what his
Dog,
last name was.
Uncle Dog.
Uncle Dog, we'll call him Uncle Dog. They're sitting there, and she's down at this one point of the ship where she has nowhere left to go. I don't think she has her sword handy anymore, or anything to fight with, or a knife. And she's right next to some stack of stuff off to what looks like her left. And he's coming down to challenge her, and all of a sudden, he's like, "What are you gonna do now? You got nothing to do, nowhere to go." She yanks the cover off what it is beside her, and it's a cannon. And she lights the cannon and shoots him with it.
Yeah, and
Now,
Butterman shoots
this
him
is
right out the
very,
floor.
very unrealistic. Okay, very unrealistic. You're not getting hit with a cannon at point blank range and then blown out of the boat into the water somewhere. That
Hmm.
cannonball would probably left a big gaping hole the size of a bowling ball in his chest. What it should have
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
That's very. If anything, knock off the top half of his body. But that didn't happen because it wasn't that kind of a gory, gruesome movie. But yeah, it was a fun movie. If you're a pirate movie fan, you'll like it. Just watch it. But don't expect Pirates of the Caribbean because it's
Yeah,
not that. Um, After that, the movie I watched today, up until a few minutes ago before we started, and I still got 20 minutes left to go. Darn it, I had to stop. The Long Kiss Goodnight from 1996. I had never watched this movie either, and everybody's like, "How can you tell me you have not watched this movie when you say you love a good action flick?"
yeah, that's right.
And
And it is a good action movie.
I will say this: it is not as great as some people tell me it was, but
Oh,
it is.
blasphemy!
But
Blasphemy!
no, no, nope. It's not as great as some people played it out to be, but it is a very good movie.
Hmm.
So there's a difference for me from a very good movie to a great movie. A great movie means I might watch it
Dude,
again next week or the week after. A good movie
the
means it was good. I enjoyed it, but maybe a year or two down the road, I might revisit it again or something,
man, you got to admit the scene where she puts on the daggum ice skates and starts ice skating across the ice, and literally is like popping these dudes, and she's upright with this sniper rifle in her arms and just like popping these guys and skating down towards her house. I was
I
like,
mean,
that that
I
was
mean,
a pretty badass thing.
it was
So
pretty cool. I'm not down it was that it wasn't cool. It's pretty cool. But I mean, it's not like once again, it's not. I mean, it's just good. It's not stand out great to me. It's just good. It's really
um,
solid. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to go running out and bragging about it to people tomorrow, though. That's basically where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. This became a cult class, a cult action classic instantly, practically. Directed by Rennie Harlan and written by Shane Black. Geena Davis played Samantha Kane, a suburban teacher who discovers she's actually a deadly assassin. She starred alongside Samuel L. Jackson, and today many fans consider this one of the most underrated action movies in the 1990s. I mean,
Exactly. Exactly.
it might be. I don't know. Shane Black, if that name sounds familiar to anybody, it's because he has been involved in quite a few great things in the 80s. He was in the movie Predator, the first one. Um, he was the guy who was telling the jokes to Billy to make him laugh.
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
He was the first.
He was the one
first,
that he was the one that he was the one that was talking to Jesse the Body Ventura, and he's all like Jesse's all like, I don't have time to bleed. Well, he's all like, well, do you have
no,
time to duck?
no,
And he
that
was
was
like,
that was Richard Chavez.
do.
That was Richard Chavez. Shane Black is the guy that got killed first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the one telling the
He
joke.
was the one with the glasses. Okay,
yeah. Notable works he's done: Lethal Weapon, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, The Nice Guys. It's collaborated with the likes of Joel Silver, Robert Downey Jr., Frank Decker. Um, he sold his first major screenplay, Lethal Weapon, in 1987 to Warner Brothers, established himself as one of the highest paid screenwriters of his era. He followed it up with The Last Boy Scout, The Long Kiss Goodnight, both of which showcase his signature mix of action and sardonic wit. He transitioned to directing, made his directorial debut in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a neo-noir comedy that revitalized his career, brought Robert Downey Jr. to mainstream audiences again. Later directed Iron Man 3, The Nice Guys, and The Predator in 2018. Not Predator, but The Predator.
The Predator.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely a different movie, but in the Predator family. So, he's been heavily involved in a lot of action stuff back in that day. Rennie Harlan, you mentioned earlier you wondered what all Rennie Harlan has done, because you said the name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Other things Rennie Harlan has done, notable films: Die Hard 2,
Cliffhanger. No. Yep.
Big Cliffhanger, and then Deep Blue Sea. So there's a few. His U.S. debut. I'm surprised you hadn't spit this one out yet, knowing this one. his U.S. debut was A Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master in '88.
Oh, nice! That's where I recognize his name.
Became the franchise's biggest hit of its era, establishing him as a dependable action stylist and everything. So, I mean, that's where you know him most of it. It seems like.
Yeah.
But he's also done Exorcist: The Beginning, 12 Rounds, 5 Days of War, Skip Trace, the Strangers trilogy. I guess that's horror movies, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Responsible for that as well. Rennie Harlan was also married to actress Geena Davis from 93 to 98.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and they have 2 children. Despite fluctuating commercial fortunes, his films have grossed over $1 billion worldwide, making him among the highest earning Finnish directors in history. So, yeah, he's pretty well known, I would say. Whether we know it or not. 1999. We are at the last one of her 90s movies.
Okay.
And this was the movie, Stuart Little. That's how she entered her decade. Family hit Stuart Little. The film became a huge success and introduced her to an entirely new generation. Family comedy film directed by Rob Minkoff, adapts E.B. White's 1945 children's novel. of the same name. Screenplay by M. Night M. Night Shyamalan did the screenplay.
He did.
Um,
Wow.
apparently, main cast: Gina Davis, Hugh Laurie, Jonathan Lipnicki, voice of Michael J. Fox. Um, I guess I didn't know Michael J. Fox was in Stuart Little. I never watched Stuart Little. Did you watch it?
Bits and pieces here and
Yeah,
there. I
stuff
mean,
like that, and those stuff like that was never my cup of tea.
yeah.
I couldn't really get into it or anything, so
I'm
I did
trying to
not.
remember. I'm trying to remember who voiced the cat in Stuart Little. The big white fluffy cat.
Um, Snowbell.
I guess it might have been Snowball.
This was
Was
Snowbell.
it Ricky Gervais?
The story follows Stewart, an optimistic mouse adopted by the human little family in New York City. Despite his small size, he faces big challenges, fitting in, especially with the family cat Snowbell.
Mm. I wanna say his voice sounded like Ricky Gervais, but I'm not sure. So
Yeah, that part I'm not really sure of. This doesn't give me a breakdown of the cast and who did what, just throw some of the names out there. We can look it up later, or if anybody else happens to know who did the voice of the cat, just drop it in our comments
yeah,
down there
exactly. Let me
down
know.
here in the video,
So,
and let Marty know for sure who it was.
mhm.
And that would be it for her as far as the 90s go. A great decade of the 80s, a great decade of the 90s. Roles that she was considered for, just to throw a couple more things out there, she was actually reportedly considered for the female lead of Elizabeth Perkins. I'm sorry, the role that Elizabeth Perkins got in Big.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, alongside Tom Hanks.
yeah, yeah, the
In a
one that
way, I
Elizabeth
could see
Perkins got.
that. Really.
Yeah, she got the
So,
same look, same look and feel. Now, this I don't know though. Rumored to have been considered for Vicky Vale before Kim Basinger landed the part. Um,
the original. Well, no, yeah, the
yeah,
original Batman movie, right?
yeah. In 1992, her name circulated during casting discussions before Sharon Stone took the role in Basic Instinct. And in 91, in Silence of the Lambs, some early casting rumors mentioned Gina Davis before Jodie Foster was officially cast. I think what it is that she had reached that point of recognition and respect to where people would put her name out there and go, "What do you think Gina Davis could pull this off?" I think
Mhm.
that's more or less what a lot of these are. Um, and
Yeah.
then a little fun trivia thing about her. Did you know that she is an elite level archer?
Oh, nice.
And she nearly qualified for the U.S. Olympic team one year.
Okay.
I told you about the highly intelligent with the fluent in Swedish and such already. She founded a major organization to advocate for a better representation of women in media, and she mastered nearly every genre. She's done comedy, she's done drama, action, sci-fi, fantasy, horror. Very few actors or actresses successfully cross genres like Gina Davis did.
Hmm.
So, got a few questions to toss at you, Marty. Then we're
Okay.
gonna wrap her up. Uh, for you, and
Hmm.
this is your opinion, obviously, but what is Gina Davis's greatest role she played?
Uh, I, it's gonna be a toss up for me because I really liked her in The Fly, and and I really liked her in Beetlejuice. But the thing is, the some of the movies that she did in the '90s, I really liked. I mean, I liked A Long Kiss Goodnight.
But here's the thing, though. It's not what you might find as your favorite role of hers, but what do you think is her greatest role she did during the time she was acting?
Oh, they probably it'd probably be Beetlejuice for Beetlejuice. So
If I had to throw it out there, I would probably say Thelma and Louise because that's where she really gained a lot of notoriety.
yeah, yeah, true.
So I mean, I would probably throw that one out there. Which movie best represents her career? The Fly, Beetlejuice, Thelma and Louise, or A League of Their Own?
Man, I'm gonna go with A League of Their Own. So I liked her as Dottie Hanson. So
Best movie that which movie best represents her career? When I read that, it makes me think in my mind that it's asking you when you hear the name Gina Davis, what movie comes to mind first?
um,
That's kind of how I'm taking it when I read it.
yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm going to fall back on Thelma and Louise. I would rather it be A League of Their Own. I really liked it, but I mean, the first movie I think of when I think of her is Thelma and Louise.
Mhm.
Is The Long Kiss Goodnight the most underrated action movie of the '90s, like we mentioned earlier? Some people think.
Yes, it is. I'm just I like the movie. I mean, I thought it was a good action movie. I
It
mean,
was.
not a lot of people gave it the type of respect that it needed. I mean, like just some of the scenes, were just really really good. So
I agree with you. Which act? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Uh, I can answer number 4 for you right here. No problem. Did Cutthroat Island deserve better? Yes, it did.
yeah, yes it
It
did.
was it was definitely a better film than what they're calling it. And
Uh-huh.
I think that nobody was really ready for pirate movies to come back around and be popular, or at least not with her version of a pirate character.
I think what it was I mean I hate to say it, but it was the type of influence that Disney had with Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
that they promoted it enough to where it was like every other commercial on TV was Pirates of the Caribbean. Like you were seeing like a little clip of Pirates of the Caribbean,
Before Pirates
and it piqued everybody's interest.
before Pirates of the Caribbean came out, we were already walking around acting like a half drunk pirate going, "Where's the rum?
Yeah,
Why is the rum always gone?" You
exactly.
know,
I,
what are you
and the thing
doing?
is, I think if they would have promoted Cutthroat Island maybe
Mhm.
a little more than they did, it might have grossed a little bit more money
Yeah,
than it did. So,
I'm
but
definitely
I
with you on
mean,
that.
did I mean it came out when did it come out? Like 91?
Um, 91, uh, 90, Cutthroat Island, 90. I'm scrolling back up. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'll have it for you in just a second. Cutthroat Island was 1995.
Okay, so 1995.
Mhm.
In 1995, you would just barely get like a trailer here and there, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and then mainly where would you catch most of those trailers? It would be either on a DVD at the beginning of a DVD or the beginning of a VHS tape.
yeah.
I mean, you were kind of lucky if you got like a shot of a trailer when you went to the movie theater, uh, and but I think if they'd have promoted a little more, I think it would have probably grossed a little more money. So,
All right. Which Gina Davis performance should have received more awards attention?
uh, I'm gonna go with the fly on that one because of my heart. My heart's gotta because I really appreciated her role in that movie. So like just the like that she had fell in love with the person that was actually turning into basically a 185-pound fly. So I mean, it's like
No, I hear you. I hear you. It's which actor, and I think I know where you're going with this one as well, though. But I want to ask you, which actor did she have the best chemistry with? Jeff Goldblum, Michael Keaton, Susan Sarandon, or Tom Hanks?
Jeff Goldblum.
She was in quite a few with Goldblum.
Uh,
Now, their characters
well, they
didn't
were
always
married for 3 years.
I
So,
know, but their characters didn't always interact with each other. But just so the fact they were in several movies together doesn't really mean that she had the best chemistry with him on screen.
yeah.
If I'm going best chemistry with somebody on screen, I'm either going Tom Hanks or Susan Sarandon, because she had more screen time with them than she did, you know, with Jeff Goldblum for sure.
Yeah.
And last question for you, Marty. This is your opinion. Could Geena Davis have become an even bigger action star in the 1990s?
I think if they'd have probably gave her more roles, I could see it. So,
All right.
because
Well,
right off the rip, you got Cut Third Island and Long Kiss Goodnight, and both of those are action movies. So,
true. True. Well, we're at that point. Let's go ahead and throw out there our social media real quick. If you are a fan of this show and you're on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe to us and hit that bell, as Marty likes to
yeah,
say,
hit
hit
that
that
bell.
bell. And beyond there, we're on Facebook. Like us and follow us on Facebook. Marty, there is no bell on Facebook.
Hit that bell. I see it
I
right
don't
there. It's right
care
there.
don't
It's right
care what the
there.
graphic shows. There is no bell on Facebook. The person that made that graphic, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on me for even taking it. But anyway, we are all the videos go to YouTube, obviously, and we are on audio anywhere where you get your audio podcasts available. So iTunes and Spotify are the two main places that I focus on, but you can pick us up on other places as well, wherever you have a audio podcast that you can search for and everything. So check us out there. Follow us on Spotify and iTunes. Follow us on YouTube. We are definitely trying to build that YouTube up.
Uh-huh.
I would love to see. I was just telling somebody yesterday, belong to a podcasting group on Facebook, and we were talking about what you want out of your podcast, right? And what I want out of this podcast more than anything is to build a small. When I say small, not too small, but not super large community out of this. People that love the 80s and 90s movies, 80s and 90s TV. If you still have fond memories of the toys you grew up with and everything, uh, and you just like talking about this stuff, that's the kind of people I want to attract to this podcast and this YouTube channel that we have, and make a fun community out of it. We can spread it over into the Discord channel, because I do have a Discord channel. We just don't really advertise it because no one's really in it right now. It's one of those things where we can put it out there and you can join it if you want to, and add things to it daily. But we'll focus on that later down the road.
Mhm.
But yeah, just a fun, community, family feel and everything, to enjoy these kind of things on a daily basis with each other. And it people get all kinds of recommendations on movies, we're all different. So I would love to hear your recommendations on movies as well, what you think we should watch and, check into for the podcast and everything as well, too. So,
Exactly.
and Marty, that wraps up our look at the incredible career of Geena Davis throughout the 1980s and the 1990s. From model to horror icon to Oscar winner to action hero, she became one of the most unique and versatile stars of her era. If everybody enjoyed this episode, which I hope you did, make sure you subscribe to Retro Life for You, leave a review for us, and tell us, what is your favorite Geena Davis movie.
Uh-huh.
Until next time, Marty.
Yep.
What?
I'm ready. I'm ready to see one thing. I'm ready to see my meme that says, always stay retro.